Florida Senator Marco Rubio may have big trouble at home. Now, he's crossing his fingers he'll win in Florida. That's where he lives. That's who he represents. Yet right now, in a new Florida poll, Donald Trump is clobbering Senator Rubio. The brand-new Quinnipiac University poll of likely Republican Florida voters puts Trump in a commanding lead at 44%. Senator Rubio 16 points behind Trump at 28%. Senator Ted Cruz in third place with 12%. Governor John Kasich in fourth with 7%. Dr. Ben Carson rounding out the field with 4%. Can anyone possibly catch up and outshine Trump in the Sunshine State? Or will Florida go Trump? Florida Representative Congressman Ron DeSantis goes on the record. Nice to see you, sir.
Congratulations, 3,501.
That's right. Tonight's 3,501. Thank you, sir. We're going to keep counting, too. Sir, you haven't endorsed anyone.
No.
Not yet. Okay. How do you explain that Donald Trump has such a commanding lead in this poll in Florida? And this poll was taken after Governor Bush got out of the race, who's a Floridian.
Well, I think it's important to understand. People say, oh, well, it's Marco's home state, but Donald Trump's been a celebrity for decades. Everybody knows him everywhere. And so usually you have a home state advantage because they don't know the other people. And so I think Donald is someone that a lot of people know. And clearly he has captured some of the zeitgeist about wanting to turn this place upside down. And I've seen that over the last 6 months. More and more people at different events I've attended, more Trump shirts, more Make America Great shirts. So I think he's leading. I think that poll's probably a little bit more than what he's leading, but I do think he's leading. But
Senator Rubio represents Florida. I bet everyone in my home state knows who Senator Rubio is right now, and I'm from Wisconsin. I mean, everybody knows. I mean, are they just not? They just don't think that he has the capability to be president?
No, I don't think so. I think that Donald has hit a nerve with a lot of folks. And quite frankly, I mean, most of the other candidates have been attacking each other. And so Donald has been really above the fray. And then he's had a kneecapped a lot of people, too. So, you know, I think Marco's going to run good in Florida. I think Donald, obviously, is going to be formidable. And I think it'll be an important race. And I think what happens between now and then will also have an effect with momentum.
Where does Trump have the most support? What part of the state? It's a big state. It has all those big markets, TV markets. It's expensive to run there.
Well, I'll tell you, I've been in Palm Beach and seen the Make America Great hat. I've been in Pensacola, Jacksonville, Fort Myers. I mean, I think part of Trump is that he's not necessarily an ideological candidate, and so we have different views in different parts of the state. He's more of a personality candidate, and I think that there is an appeal there throughout different parts of our very diverse state.
Is there a topic that seems to consume Floridians the most this election?
I think this place here in Washington needs to be overhauled. I mean, I just don't think there's any question. People know that. When I talk about what we need to do, that's when the heads start to nod. And I think Trump has shrewdly positioned himself as someone that's really going to take a sledgehammer to the permanent political class here in Washington.
Do you think on the other side of the aisle that also is the same thing with, I mean, is Senator Bernie Sanders have sort of an edge that way? Because, look, Trump and Sanders are sort of perceived as the candidates or the shaking up candidates, not the conventional candidates.
Well, clearly, I mean, Hillary, not only is she the quintessential establishment candidate, a lot of people get frustrated because people don't have to really live under the same rules here. And how many junior officers in the military, if they handled classified information the way Hillary would have no consequences? I don't think anyone expects Loretta Lynch to actually indict Hillary Clinton. And I think some people understand that and say, hey, does she live under a different set of rules or what?
Congressman, nice to see you.
Thanks
for joining us. And Florida is a big deal, and not just because of all the delegates. Senator Rubio represents Florida. Donald Trump lives there, at least part-time, and so does Dr. Ben Carson. The on-the-record political panel is here from the Washington Examiner, Susan Ferricchio, and from the Weekly Standard, John McCormick. John, how important is Florida, not just from sort of a bragging rights point of view for Senator Marco Rubio, he's the senator there, but just for his campaign overall?
Well, it's very important. You know, Florida has 99 delegates at stake, and it's a winner-take-all, which means if you win by one vote, you get all 99 delegates. You know, Donald Trump could clean up on Super Tuesday, win 11 states by 5 to 10 points. He'd probably only net on his total haul would probably only be 100 delegates more than Ted Cruz. So just in terms of if Marco Rubio wants to win this nomination, you know, not in a brokered convention, he's almost certainly going to need to win Florida.
Susan, in this race, Donald Trump has 44% in Florida, 28% is Senator Rubio, which is 16 points behind. Governor Jeb Bush isn't in here. Who got Governor Jeb Bush's numbers in this?
You know, it's really interesting because I think that there's another poll that has him a little bit closer, Rubio and Trump. But the problem with Rubio is that he sort of epitomizes the candidate that a lot of the electorate is angry at because they elected him in 2010. He was a Tea Party candidate, and he came to Washington. And there's a growing sense in Florida that he sort of betrayed his Tea Party base by signing on to the immigration reform law. There were a lot of people really angry at him about that, and I've been hearing from these Florida voters who are getting angry at Rubio as the Senate career moved along. Along comes Trump, the outsider candidate, who's saying, I'm outside the box. I wasn't in Washington. I didn't sign on to the immigration bill. And they turned to him. And that's really what Rubio's problem is. Jeb Bush is sort of a non-factor there. I think Rubio earned a lot of animosity from the voters in Florida, and it's payback time right now.
John, where do you think the Bush votes went?
Rubio actually has improved. He just hasn't improved enough to take over Donald Trump. What needs to happen here is you need to change the dynamic. You need to take away some of Donald Trump's supporters.
How do you do that?
Well, no one knows for sure yet, but you got to try at least, and they haven't really tried so far. Right now, if you go back to 2012, Newt Gingrich was up by nearly double digits a week before the Florida primary, crucial primary for Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney went and spent Super PAC spent $15.4 million in that state. That is more money that has been spent to date by Super PACs nationwide against Donald Trump. And Romney also went after him in the debate. And so far, Rubio, he's taken a few swipes at Trump. He hasn't really gone after him hard. If he wants to change the narrative, he's going to have to try and actually beat Donald Trump.
Well, so far he's been focusing on beating Ted Cruz, Senator Rubio.
Exactly.
He and Donald Trump have both been beating up on Senator Ted Cruz.
Exactly. But, Mitt Romney didn't win by, trying to take away Rick Santorum's votes back in 2012 and attacking the third-place candidate.
It's a false assumption to think that Jeb's votes were going to go to Rubio. And I would say that for the rest of the field, too, where they think they can condense, and if Kasich drops out or another candidate drops out, I don't think you can assume they'll all go to Rubio.